Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Wednesday, November 20th, 2019, and we again find ourselves in the final hour of the trading day. As I mention each day, I believe that the prices as close as you can get them to the close of the market are the most valid prices of the day to make your buying and selling decisions from. That's why I primarily make the majority of my buying and selling decisions right there, right before the close. During the day, you have algorithms, you have the day traders. There's a lot of noise, things moving around. At the end of the day, you have the large financial institutions, the market makers come in, take their positions with size, and I believe that they're the most well informed. They have the best information, they have the best technology, the smartest people, and so I believe they move the price to where they think is the most valid price at the close of the day. And so that's why I like to mirror them and make my buying and selling decisions from that price as well. So anyway, hope everyone is doing well today. I really appreciate you coming by each day and investing your time. I hope you're getting a return on your time investment by coming and joining us on this channel each day. Evan M, how's it going, Evan? Evan says, good afternoon. Finally getting a bit of rain in Los Angeles today. Oh, you're from LA. I'm originally from LA myself, Evan. I was born in Santa Monica. So good to see you today. Sounds like you're finally getting some rain. Okay, so it seems like you haven't had rain for a while then, right? So thanks for coming, Evan. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with. So today has been, well, it's been kind of interesting in the market. It has, we finally got a bit of a pullback. We finally got a little volatility. We had some news come in today that the China trade deal may not happen as soon as everyone was expecting, possibly after the year. So we did have kind of a big sell-off in the middle of the day. So we're finally getting a little bit of fireworks or volatility here. So from my perspective, I've been waiting for some kind of pullback. We've been extended in these markets. So I've been waiting for something like this. So we'll take a look and see if there's anything happening at the end of the day. All right. Well, listen, the plan for today, as usual, first of all, we're going to go ahead and run the U.S. legal disclaimer. We're going to come back. We're going to take a look at all my current positions. We're going to talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, and how I'm going to manage them moving forward, either to the upside or the downside. After that, I want to talk a little bit about trader psychology. I like to mention this every day. Managing your emotions is the greatest skill you can ever develop in trading. And more specifically, managing your emotions when you're really doing well or really doing bad. But, in order to make this work, in order to become a long-term profitable trader, you really have to have a plan. It doesn't have to be the best plan in the world. It just has to be a decent plan. But the important part is that you follow it. Sounds easy, and it is, if you don't have any emotions, but we're human beings and we do have emotions, and those emotions make us want to deviate from our plan. And that's what gets everybody, is when they deviate from their plan. They get into something they shouldn't. They don't get into something when they should. So, think of managing your emotions as a skill. Of course, when I say, hey, you want to be a skilled trader, you want to know, about technicals and support and resistance, you can understand that. Okay, that's a skill you have to develop. But also remember that managing your emotions is also a skill, and in my opinion, the most important. So we'll talk about that in that segment of the show. After that, we will go through my entire watch list, stock by stock. We're going to take a look at support, resistance levels. We're going to look at indicators like MACD, RSI, moving averages, ATR channels. And the way that I view trading, when I look at a chart, I look at RSI levels, moving averages, price action. I look at that as different groups of buyers. And if you want a stock to go up, if you want to be profitable in trade, you need to put yourself in a position where you're in with other buyers. And I like to look for a confluence or a combination of signals, because if one indicator is a group of buyers, that's good. And if, like I said, if you want something to go up, you need to be in the company of other buyers. But if you can get a combination of signals, I look at that as several different groups of buyers coming in at the same time, which is even better, and I believe gives you a better chance to have a profitable trade. So we're going to go through each stock one by one. We're going to look for all those indicators. We're going to look for those lining up, and if something looks interesting, I'll mark it. And then as we get closer to the close of the market, I will go through those possible candidates with the little finer tooth comb and narrow it down. You know, it's important in trading. Two steps here. Step one, you have to have a confluence of signals, right? That's the ideal, is looking for a confluence of signals from your indicators. But even when you have that, you then have to look at your possible risk to reward. Are you too extended based upon ATR channels or RSI? Is there a resistance above you is, closer than where your stop would be, not giving you a good risk to reward ratio? So it's important that we look for a good combination of signals, but it's also important that we look for a good risk to reward where we have more potential reward on the trade based on technicals than our risk. So we'll go through that. If I find something that meets the criteria, I'll go ahead and enter it at the end of the day. And then after the market closes, if anybody has any questions, any clarification on anything I discussed today, please let me know. Happy to clarify it for you. If you have any stock symbols that you would like me to look at, happy to do that as well, give you my opinion on them. If you feel like you have a stock symbol that looks like there might be a good setup today before the market closes, go ahead, put it in the chat, maybe put an asterisk by it so I know that it's time sensitive. We need to look at it a little quicker before the end of the market. And so that, everybody, is the plan. So if you don't mind, and you hold on for about 40 seconds, I'm going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer, and I will be back 40 seconds. So hang tight. Thanks. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All righty. Hey Jackson, how's it going? Jackson says, morning Greg and all, 98 degrees Fahrenheit in Australia. That's awesome. I love hot weather. I'm jealous. Thanks for coming by, Jackson. Hope you have a good day there in the heat. And thanks for all your help with that video that on the Trading View. From your email. Really appreciate the work you did. That was very nice of you. Thank you. Hi, Murat. How you doing, sir? It's our friend Murat from Norway. Great to see you as always. So, all right. Well, like I said, we've had some fireworks in the markets today after this kind of long march upwards. As you know, I've been waiting for some kind of pullback before I can make different entries. Everything's been overextended. So anyway, let's go ahead, take a look at my current positions. We'll start with that. I'll talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, and how I'm going to manage them going forward. So, all right, well, the famous SPY trades. So this is one particular type of trade that I take every single day. I buy the SPY at the close each day. I sell it first thing in the morning. Regardless of technicals or anything. And you might ask yourself, why would you do that? You base everything off technical analysis, and I do, except for this approach. But the reason I use this approach is because of the favorable backtesting results. This is from Lizanne Saunders at Bespoke Invest. Lizanne Saunders, the Chief Investment Officer at Charles Schwab. But with this test, there's two different approaches. The first approach would be buying the SPY at the open each day and selling it at the close each day. So buy at the open, sell at the close. Buy at the open, sell at the close. If you would have used this approach every day since 1993, for all your troubles, you would have actually lost a negative 13.9% for doing this. If you did the opposite, which is what I do, and buy the SPY at the close each day, and then sell it the next morning. So buy at the close, sell the next morning, buy at the close, sell the next morning. If you'd used this approach every day since 1993, you'd have actually returned a positive 634.2%. So between the two, which one would you pick? Well, I picked this one because it has good back-tested results. And you can see the blue line here is the buy in the afternoon, sell in the morning. The orange line is this buy in the morning, sell in the afternoon. The buy in the afternoon, sell the morning is a clear winner. You can see from this chart. I love this chart because it shows you if you have an edge and you're able to stay in the game and exploit that edge over the long run, you can see the results. Now, in between, it doesn't go straight up. In between, you have ups and downs, and that's normal for any trading approach, even if you have an edge. So it's important to position size properly. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. That is true. That goes for any trading methodology, even with an edge, because you don't know it's going to have an edge in the future. But if I'm going to allocate capital, I would rather allocate capital to something that has shown that it's positive over the long term instead of something that shows that it's negative over the long term. So with that said, I did buy SPY yesterday at the close at 311.93. I sold it first thing this morning at 311.30. So did take an overnight loss. To be expected. You never know with this approach in the short term what's going to happen. In May of this year, I think 80% of all of my trades, my overnight SPY trades, were negative. However, looking in the big picture, I've been using this since February 26th of this year. It's been extremely profitable. Very close to hitting an all-time high using this approach. The last few days have been mixed results. We bought here, sold here for a gain, bought here, sold here for a loss, bought here, sold here at the open for a gain, and bought here, sold here for a loss. When we were down much stronger earlier, I was like, boy, glad we got out, but we are still actually above. We sold it above where it is here. So it's going to be very interesting to see where the market closes here today. So I will be buying the SPY here at the end of the day as usual and selling it first thing tomorrow morning. Dr. Long, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Dr. Long says, hi Greg, some good news, some bad today. Sold MO yesterday. Oh yeah, I saw that today. Sold MO yesterday, long NXST, good short ORLY in Google. Bought VIX, took profit on TLT. Oh, those all sound good. Those all sound good, except for selling the MO. And I think the NXST is down today as well. But we'll take a look at those a little closer a little later. But thanks for coming, Dr. Long. Murat says, I made a stupid mistake today. I was nicely marching with my crude oil trade. I decided to move my stop after $2 move. Nicely placed behind a very strong support, but forgot the spread. Yeah, oil did move today. Look at that. My goodness. Well, we all make mistakes in trading. Like it happens to everyone. Maybe a good time to point out, if you do make a mistake, please note it. Please learn from it. If you make a trading mistake where you're buying instead of selling, don't sit back, freeze, and not know what you're doing. Just if you make a mistake on an entry or something, just immediately reverse it. It's the best advice I can give. A lot of people will make a mistake, but then they'll stick with the mistake for whatever reason, right? But if you make a mistake, best thing to do is just go ahead and correct that mistake immediately. And if you didn't follow your plan for some reason, forgot something, make a note of it and try not to do it again. Hey Jesse, what's going on, bud? Good to see you, sir. Nice to have you here as always. Jesse says, hey Greg and all. Always great to have Jesse here. And Jess, do you have any trades going on? Anything going on right now? Sure be interested if you did to follow them. All right. Next trade. Next current position, I should say, is real estate, XLRE. We bought it back here on the 13th of November. Was a nice setup for several different reasons. The previous day we closed under the 30 RSI. On the day that I bought it, we closed over. And you know, that's a trigger for me. When we go intraday under 30 and close over, or if we close under 30 and then the next day we close back over. So that was signal number one. Signal number two is that we bounced off the third ATR channel. 90% of prices tend to find support at the third ATR or third Keltner channel. To the upside tends to act as resistance. Prices contained within the third ATR channel to the upside and the negative third to the downside. So when we start getting down to the third ATR channel, doesn't mean I just go ahead and immediately buy it, but it does kind of get my attention because I know 90% of prices usually bounce here, but then I still need some kind of trigger. And my trigger was the under 30, over 30. In addition, we had this nice V2. Here's day one, day two washes out day one. My entry day, which is day three, we close above day one's close. So under 30, over 30, bounced at the third ATR channel, had this nice, beautiful V2, and you can see this has been a really nice trade for us. We 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Been in this 5 days, but it's been moving up. I've been phasing out, of course, as it moves up. Whenever the market moves up a certain amount, I do take a percentage of my shares off the table, and that's what I've been doing here. A few days ago, we did get above the 50 RSI, which is good because that's usually resistance above us, the 50. But if we can break through, then that 50 RSI becomes support underneath us. And my trailing stop at this point is a close under the 50 RSI. So right now we're at 52.79. If you can see earlier today, we were under the 50, but I based my buying and selling decisions on the close, as I mentioned at the beginning of each program. So as long as this stays above the 50 RSI, I will continue to hold it, continue to phase out to the upside. If we do continue upside, you know, I am aware of this 50-day moving average up here. If we go up, reject that on a closing basis, I would go ahead and use that as my exit signal as well. But this has been a really nice trade so far, and a good example of multiple indicators coming together at the same time. Under 30, over 30, bounce to the third ATR channel, and a nice V2. So, you know, this is a perfect example of a deep dip buy with multiple signals, and it has just marched up nicely. Hasn't really been a stressful trade, has it? So this point, under 50, I'm going to lock this in. If we reject the 50 to the upside, I will be getting out. And if it keeps on marching, I will just get out at my profit targets until I'm out of shares. And then I do have an option. I sold some puts on McDonald's. When I sell puts, you know, when you sell puts, you're selling puts at a price lower, and as long as the price stays above the price that you sold it at expiration, you're able to keep all the premium for selling the puts. I sold them at $180, so as long as McDonald's holds above 180 by December 13th, I'll be able to keep the full premium. When I sell puts, I do like to identify a strike price that I'm selling the puts at that have support from a technical standpoint on not just one time frame like the daily, but 3 different time frames. Because some people trade the monthly chart. They really do. I mean, it's pretty slow going, right, to trade the monthly chart, but they do trade the monthly chart. And so when I look at a chart on the monthly, I want to identify some kind of support of my strike price on the monthly. Well, the $180 strike price that I sold it at's right in between the value zone, the 1 ATR and the negative 1 ATR. So it's right at the midpoint. So, you know, theoretically, we should find some buyers right here, reversion to the mean at 180 on the monthly. On the weekly chart, because some people just trade weeklies, the $180 price is just above the 100-week moving average. So there should be some support here, theoretically. I don't know for sure, right? But this is all theoretical, and it's in the low 30s RSI on the weekly. But again, some people just trade the weekly time frame. So I need to look for support from a technical basis on the weekly as well. And that 180 lines up nicely with the low RSI and the 100-week moving average. And then on the daily, The $180 mark lines up at the 5th ATR channel. Very difficult to get prices down in this area, especially to the 6th ATR channel. It does happen, don't get me wrong, but anyway, that is why I sold McDonald's at 180. It's up today, which I'm glad, but again, as long as this stays above 180 by the end of the contract period, which is December 13th, I'll be able to keep all the premium. And I think I got $33 per option contract on this for the premium. So that's it. Been pretty light lately. The market's been overextended, so haven't been jumping into a lot of positions, which is fine. You know, when the market gets into this kind of mode here, I'd rather just sit on my hands, sit back, and wait for a pullback. And didn't seem like it was ever going to come, but looks like we might be getting somewhat of a pullback today. So, all right, let's take a look here. All right, so Dr. Long, I'm going to take a look at those. How we doing on time? All right, so let's look quickly at Dr. Long. So he sold it yesterday. He sold the MO yesterday. Of course, we had this huge big move up today, but this came on news, had something to do with the tobacco industry not reducing nicotine levels. So yeah, that's unfortunate. I understand, Dr. Long. I went through that with Johnson & Johnson the other day, but you know, what can you do? I wouldn't buy here. We've rejected the 70 RSI already today. What else do we have? NXTS, of course, we looked at that a couple days ago. Beautiful V2 formation. We close outside of the 1 ATR channel. We come back. We wait for the pullback. Here's the pullback. We have some sideways movement. We have this nice V1 here. Moved up yesterday, moved up today, but then with the news about China, it reversed back. If I had this position, I probably would still keep this. I don't think we've moved far enough up for me to instigate a trailing stop. I would use a close below halfway of the washout bar. So halfway is right about there, and that's right where we're finding support. So interesting, right? Orly. Whoa, yeah, I remember you had that short. Fantastic. Look at that, everybody. Beautiful. Fantastic. And you bought some VIX. Good, good, good. Yeah, you had a good day on VIX today. And TLT, you took some profits. Boy, look at that. Look at this trade on TLT. Really did find support down here at the 3rd ATR channel, didn't it? Murat says, if I didn't forget, I would stay in a bit longer. I took 80% of my target, but I am still mad. I was busy with other things when I decided to move the stop. It was a nice, profitable day in the end. Well, good. Fantastic, Murat. I'm glad it was profitable. It's hard to get everything on a trade, right? But just be happy that you had something. Hey, Wayne, how's it going? Mr. Wayne, BKNG. So bookings holding, did we go under 30? 31, 30.01, but it did go under 30 intraday. So yeah, the way that I trade, this would have been a valid signal yesterday, or not yesterday, two days ago, because it went under 30, closed above. It's up so far, but I don't think I would be buying. I mean, I would have bought it on the day that it went under 30, over 30. Would I buy it here today? I guess. I mean, the risk to reward's still good, and it did come back in the channel. So not bad, not bad. Jesse, at the mere whisper last week of getting into Apple with the tight stop for chance at riding wave, pullback now occurring. Stick to the rules, hashtag. In XLRE, waiting to hit that final profit target, trailing stop in force. That's right. That's exactly right. You have the perfect trade plan on XLRE, and I'm glad that trade worked out for you. Yeah, Jesse just mentioned getting into Apple, and then it pulled back. But I'll tell you, that's how it works sometimes. That's how it works sometimes. But I've been wanting to get into Apple. I just have to wait for that dang pullback. Marco, how you doing? Good afternoon, my friend. Greg and all, good to see you, sir. Always great to have you here. Steve Burns, hey Greg, market is still playing China trade deal. No trade deal ping pong. Yes. You are right. Good to see you, Steve. Thank you as always for coming by. Always so nice to have you here. I'm always excited to have you here, and I know everyone else is. You know, be able to rub shoulders with Steve in the in the chat. So thanks for all you do, Steve, all your great books, all your great content, all your great Twitter posts, all your great courses and things that you offer on your website, newtraderu.com. But yes, you are right. We have been talking about, that we've been so far extended that, people are going to use any excuse to take profits, whether it's news or some kind of economic report. And looks like that happened today. Mount Doji, hello. Pot stocks helped me out today. Really interested in your thoughts on O. All right. So O, I did see your post on Twitter. So, Realty Income, we closed below the 1 ATR channel. When that happens, we're looking for a rally back in and looking for a V1 or V2. So listen, this is a V1. Ideally, Mount Doji, when we close under the 1 ATR channel back into the channel, I like to see 2 days down before I take the V1 or V2. Of course you can take it, just taking a class from Linda Raschke, she really likes when you have 2 days down, 2 consecutive days down, and then that third day is the buy day. And I've also been taught that by Carrie Lavorne. But with that being said, this is a higher low V1. Today we washed out yesterday's low, closed back above. It looks like we're closing above the 50, which is also great. If it were me, and this is just me, if I was interested in taking this trade, I would definitely want it to close over the 50, and I would want it to close over the 20, but it's right there. But yeah, pretty good. But I have XLRE, and they're somewhat related. So I don't think I'm going to add to that industry, but if you didn't have any, it's not bad. And of course your stop would be halfway to this washout bar. All right, everybody. So listen, this is the time of the day where I do like to talk about trading psychology. There's some really good Twitter channels out there that put a lot of time and effort into posting sayings about trading psychology, good trading words of wisdom. And I like to go through and find something that I think would be helpful for the group. And this is from Rishi Karia. And I really like his channel on Twitter at quanttrader_RK. He's a professional trader and educator, and he does have some great posts. So Mr. Korea says, trading is a waiting game and you need patience, right? I always talk about how important patience is. It's the one advantage that we have over the big financial institutions. They have to trade. We do not have to trade. It's the biggest edge we have as small retail traders, but is having patience. But trading is a waiting game and you need patience. Wait for the right market environment, right? Scale in and out of positions over time. Do not take actions unless your setup appears. Sell according to your rules and not feelings, right? Perfect advice. Wait for the right market environment. Okay, so, that's subjective depending on what your plan is. But, if you're waiting for a deep dip, you have to wait for that environment, right? But yes, wait for the right environment. Scale in and scale out of positions over time. Listen, of course, you guys know that I scale out of positions. I'm a huge proponent of that. I don't scale in. Doesn't mean it's not a good idea. I just do not have an actual plan that I've developed for scaling in. I have a plan for scaling out. So scaling in is just fine, but develop yourself a plan that makes sense. But yes, I really do like to scale out of positions and over time and sell to people when they really want it. I was taught that by Dr. Alexander Elder. He said, our role as traders is to buy from people that want to dump their stock and to sell to people that are, emotionally overjoyed and manic and want to buy or stop. So sell your stock to people who really want to buy it. Buy your stock from people that really want to sell it. Do not take actions unless your setup appears. Okay, this is pretty simple on the surface, right? But how many times have you taken an action before your setup appeared? It takes a lot of skill. It takes a lot of discipline to just go, I know, I understand. I feel like I want to buy here or sell here. But I don't have a setup yet. So let this setup come to you. It's important to let the setup identify what would be good in the future. Like, oh, it's at a 42 RSI. I will look at this when it's a 30. Identify it when things are calm, collective. You don't have a position. You can think clearly. identify. And then when it gets there, you probably still don't want to buy it. But remember a couple of weeks back or a week back when you said this would be a good place to buy, and make your trade there if you came up with the idea and it's a solid plan. Sell according to your rules and not your feelings. Well, that's a huge one, right? I mean, it comes down to managing your emotions, and this is what it's all about. Sell according to your rules, or would also add, buy according to your rules and not your feelings. The skill you develop in trading, right? The skill of patience that you're developing is exactly this: to not sell when you are not supposed to sell, or to buy when you are supposed to buy, based upon your rules and your plan, not your feelings. So, I know I beat you guys over the head with this every single day, but I do it with love because it's important. Ask yourself when you're going to make a trade, is this based upon my rules or something I'm feeling? So thank you, Mr. Korea. Really appreciate that. I noticed on your Twitter page you were interviewed. I think maybe you and your brother were both interviewed in a trading magazine article. So congratulations on that. And thank you for this great post. And I hope it was helpful for everyone. Okay. Murat says, I shorted a stick before earnings. It just went parabolic past 2 weeks. 7 of 10 days it gapped up. I looked at the hourly chart and the price is pumped. First trading hour every day. Earnings is tomorrow. Oh, so you're short. Murat, if you don't hear anything about it from me tomorrow, it means I dived in an empty pool. Oh, Murat, no, buddy. Don't do that. Make sure there's water in it. Oh, I feel anxiety just hearing you write that. I've been in that headspace so much, and I don't like it. I don't like it, but good luck on the trade, Murat. You know what you're doing. Don't jump in that pool, please. Mount Doji says, 2 days down makes sense. I really enjoy what Linda has to say. The reason she says that, Mount Doji, is that, like today in real time, we got news about China that it may not be so great. Of course, the professionals, the market participants that watch the news, they respond to it immediately. Tomorrow or tonight, it's going to be in the headlines. It's going to be on the news. People that don't trade all day, right, that work regular jobs, they're going to see that news, hear that news, and possibly react, probably a little late, tomorrow, right? So the first day when the event happens in real time, people that watch it sell it. Then you have the news cycle overnight. You have a lot of follow through selling that second day. And then that third day is the buy day. So I hope that makes sense. Jackson says, like to hear opinion on HD, Greg. May have bounced off 30. Yep, we're going to get to that, Jackson. That is definitely one I'm going to go over today. It didn't bounce at the 30, by the way. And I'll show you, but it did not bounce at the 30. A man solo, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. But good job, Jackson, and identifying that. Good to see you, man solo. Thanks for coming. Dr. Long, short EMR also. Oh, yeah, I remember you talking about EMR the other day. Okay, so here's CLR. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Above value, into value. We did get a few days of sidewards movement. I don't like how this broke this support before the V2. But listen, it's a beautiful V2. Day one was not larger than 1 ATR with a 52.41 RSI. We're above all the moving averages. I like this one actually better than the other one because of the multiple days down. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Oh, it's up 4.4%. So let me know what happens on that, Mount Doji. Actually, let me put it over here. I really like to follow your guys' trades. You guys see my trades all the time, but I like to follow yours too. Okay, EA. And then I better get to the charts, guys. Okay, so we closed above here. We came in. We did bounce. We've come down. We've come down. We really only kind of had one day of sidewards movement here. I mean, this is down. This is actually down, and this is actually down. So technically, we don't have any sidewards movement. We have down, down, down. You know, I want to see down, hold, hold. In addition to this, Jesse, I don't like how it has, or people sold into it up at this range. It is above 50 RSI. It's above all the moving averages. Let's look at this on the weekly. On the weekly, you can see we've had a tough time getting over this 200-week moving average, which is a little concerning to me also. So the last 3 weeks, whenever we were up here, we got sold into, we got sold into, we got sold into. I don't know. I think there's better than this, Jesse. All right, let's get to it, shall we? Apple. Okay, well, finally, we got to pull back. You know, this was just this sustained up move. We were over. Today, you know, significant. We took out the previous day's. Looks like we're going to close below the previous day's low. We went from over 70, under 70. Would I short here? No, I wouldn't. What I think is going to happen, I think we're going to come in back into the value zone or close to the value zone. People are going to buy that first dip. I really, really do think they're going to buy that first dip. For me to get interested, I need it to come into the value zone. If it comes into the value zone and just bounces with the V, I wouldn't buy that either, because a lot of times those V bounces fail. What I need to see it do is come into the value zone, have some support, stop going down for 2 days minimum, and then a nice V1, V2. But, you know, what do I know? But I do think this first dip will be bought, but I'm not going to just buy the dip. I have to have the right setup of having the dip, sidewards movement, then a V1, V2. But anyway, you know, seems like it is coming down here a little bit and possibly giving us an opportunity to get back in Apple. There haven't been a lot of opportunities. Okay, I'm running a little low on time. Adobe, it's too high. Right up here at the third ATR channel, I need to pull back into value. Advanced micro devices. Wow, I haven't seen this red for a long time. A mere 83.51 RSI. You guys know the drill, right? We need to pull back into value to get interest, for me to get interested here. Amazon down today. I really would be interested in buying Amazon down here. This is what I was talking about. Look out in the future, identify a position. I'm not in this position. I could think completely clearly about this, possible position. I would love to see a 30 RSI. At the same time, we have a confluence with the third ATR channel and also the support back here. So this is, you know, I definitely will be buying Amazon if we get back here for sure. Conversely, if we close above the 250, that might also, you know, that's a good back tested approach, or a 550 crossover if it moves up and continues to trend if I don't get any of these positions. So nothing yet on Amazon, but love, love, love to buy it down in here. Uh-oh. Are my charts crashing? Oh no. Yep. They're crashing. Darn it. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to reboot this, hopefully. Sorry, everybody. See See if I can boot this back up again. Gosh darn it. Sorry about that. All right, let me see if I can reboot this up here quickly, hopefully. Oh man, put Steve's up here. For some reason this isn't booting up. Oh, here we go. During this intermission, I'd like to tell everybody about newtraderu.com. This is Steve's website. It's fantastic. He has great content. The weekly video newsletter, I subscribe to that. Has some real good trading courses. Sorry guys, it is booting back up. Tell you, there's a lot of pressure when you have a show like this and you have a technology glitch. Hey Kurt, how you doing, bud? Good to see you, sir. Thank you for the great email. Really appreciate that. I replied. Hope you got that. Oh, man. All right. It's working. It's working. Go to commercial. You're the best, Jackson. Seriously. Almost there. Almost there. Whew. All right. Back to biz. All right, dang it. All right, I'm going to have to go a little faster now. Advanced micro devices. Down, nothing we can do there. We talked about Amazon. Boeing, nothing there. I need to pull back into value. Berkshire Hathaway, finally back into value. That's what we've been waiting for. You know, up here you're like, oh, I want to buy, but you know, as it usually turns out, wait for that pullback. We are now into value. Does that mean we buy? No. Now I need a couple days to show that it will stop going down and then a V1, V2. So I will be watching Berkshire Hathaway carefully here on this pullback to value or mean reversion trade. Caterpillar, same thing, you know, look great up here, but now we're back into the value zone again. Need a sideways movement and a V1, V2. Dow, getting close to the value zone, not quite there yet. Disney, still way too extended, need a pullback. Etsy, I was looking at possibly getting in a higher low V1 here today, but it doesn't at the moment look like it's going to trigger, but it could potentially trigger for tomorrow. So either a close over the 30 would have been good, or possibly this higher low V1 today with a couple days down. But right now it doesn't look like it's going to trigger. Ford, nothing there. Oof. You know, I'm thinking deep dip buy at this point. Facebook, pull back into value. 5 below. Nothing there. Gold, not surprising, moving up here. V1 today without a pullback though, so nothing there. Gold, I'm waiting for a 520 EMA crossover, so nothing, or if it moves up and comes back down, a higher low V1, V2. Google, back into the value zone, so that's at least good, right? That's what we're waiting for, is a pullback into value. We are here. Now we just need to see it stabilize. Goldman Sachs in value, need to look for a V1 or a V2. Home Depot, so look at this today, guys. Let's measure that, see how low it got. At its low, it got about 32.13. So you know, I'm gonna wait to see if we have tomorrow we can go under and then back over, or close below and then back over, and then I would take this. But this is a good example of you have earnings which are bad, it hits the news, then you have some follow through selling. So tomorrow would be day 3, Mount Doji, if you're listening, right? Down, down, first day news, follow through, and then under 30, over 30 is what I'd be looking for. IBB, bucking the trend and going up, just too strong. I need a pullback. Intel, same thing. We are back in the value zone, but we need some sideways movement. Russell, in the value zone, nothing here. Johnson & Johnson, ugh. Well, I bought this here, scaled. When it moved this far up, it didn't quite hit my stops, and then it got back to even. I didn't want to turn it into a loss, and then look what happened. Unbelievable. Coca-Cola, looking for a couple day pullback. Look for that V1, V2, or higher low V1, V2. Lockheed Martin had this strong march up. Again, pull back into value. MasterCard, just too extended. Need to pull back into value. McDonald's, well, at least my puts are doing well today. The puts that I sold are doing well today. This is up today. Altria, look at this. We talked about shorting it. Then we were glad we didn't short. Then we were sad we didn't short. And now we're glad we didn't short. But it did reject the 70 RSI up here today. Doesn't mean I'm going to short this, but I certainly wouldn't buy it. Merck, nothing there. Microsoft down today. Over 70, under 70, over the third ATR channel, under the third ATR channel. Does that mean I'm going to sell it? No. But if I were long here, I would, this is 100% I would get out here. Again, waiting for a pullback. Netflix, strong today. Need a pullback. Nike, couple days down here. Like to see it pull back into value, V1, V2. Philip Morris, same with Altria. Some of that news on the nicotine came out. Really liked it, but the market really sold into it. So nothing here as well. PayPal down today. If I could get another day down and then a higher low V1, that would be fantastic. Qs trying to make their way back into the value zone. I know it sounds like a broken record, but that's what we're looking for, is pull back into value, sideways movement, V1, V2. How are we doing on time here? Silver, either a 520 crossover would be good, or if we could move back into the value zone, then have a couple days down and look for a higher low V1, V2. S&P, we had that overnight loss on the overnight SPY trade. We'll be buying this again today at the close. Bonds, look at this signal off the third ATR channel, just massive. Couldn't buy it up here, and look at this. We're getting close to the third ATR channel, so can't do anything with bonds here, but nice ride for anybody that had bonds. Tesla is down today, need to pull back into value. Twitter is also down today. We did take this V2 right here, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 2, washed out day 1, day 3, closed above day 1. We bought it here. It was a one-day trade, immediately went up for us, rejected the 50 or the 30 RSI and got out, and it looks like that was a good exit for us. So we'll be looking for another entry on that one. UNH, just way too high. Need a pullback. Oil, we talked about that with Murray. Look at this, but nothing there for me. VIX is a possibility today. As long as it closes above 30 RSI, I am going to buy a half a position, a quarter position in VIX. VIX is such a big mover that if I buy a normal position, I buy a half position. So I would buy a half position here because it's under the 200-day, but because it's the VIX, I'm going to buy a quarter position. So I am going to buy a quarter position of the VIX today at the close, as long as it closes over 30. Verizon, higher low V1, but it didn't have any down days. Walmart, right back here in support, moving sideways, so look for a V1, V2. Energy, Nice V1 on energy back into the value zone, but I don't like this big, strong move down. We've made a lower low. I'd like to see this rally a couple days, then down a couple days and look for that higher low V1, V2. Financials, down much further earlier today in a recovery, but nothing there. How's our XLR? This is our current position here. So no profit targets, but it looks like it is going to hold the 50 RSI. So here you go. This is a higher low V2. We make a low, we rally into the value zone. This day was technically up, so we didn't have 2 days down. We only had 1 day down. Although, you know, it's not bad. It's a nice V2. Here's day 1, day 2 thoroughly washes out day 1, day 3. Looks like it's going to close above day 1's close, above the 50, above the 20-day moving average. MACD is positive. Tell you what, I am going to buy XLU instead of the VIX. Actually, it's just a cleaner chart, and on the VIX, you had this, you know, we got sold into up here a lot. So actually, I do like this. So it looks like this is probably the only position I'm going to take other than the SPY trade. Oops. Just work the numbers here. All right, so I mean, this is a nice V2, right? We go down, we rally back into the value zone. This was up, but it was kind of down, right? It got sold into down, down, beautiful V2. Over 50 RSI, overall the moving averages, MACD's positive. Yeah, I like it. I am going to buy that. And that looks like the only thing I'm going to buy today, unless Etsy, no. And then, of course, my stop on this is going to be a close below halfway the washout bar. Yesterday was the washout bar, so that will be my stop. If we hit that stop, we'll close under 50 RSI. So it'll be, you know, we'll lose halfway the washout bar. We'll lose the 50 RSI. That will definitely tell me that I was wrong. But it gives me a good risk from here to here compared to where I could possibly go up to the 70 RSI or up to one of these highs over here. So yeah, I do like that. I do like that. I am going to buy that at the end of the day. And that looks like about it. That looks like about it. So let me take a look here and see if anybody has. Steve Burns says, LOL, intermission. That's right. Let's see. A Man Solo. All of Steve Burns' website's articles are excellent. They sure are. Steve Burns said, it's so hard to change charting services after getting used to them for years. It is. I've been using Trade Navigator for so long. I really do like it, but occasionally. All right. LGIH for A Man Solo. Well, it has a higher low V2. It did reject the 200-day. Did we go under 30? No, we didn't go under 30. Honestly, in my opinion, A Man Solo on this is I would wait for a close above the 200. It is a V2, but we didn't quite go under 30, back over 30. And lately we've been getting rejected over the 200. I mean, if it goes all the way up here, it has to get through the 200-day first. So I would wait for a close over the 200-day. Okay, and I'm going to get to these other comments. I just want to see if anyone else has any other stock symbols that you would like me to look at before the end of the day. No, I assume the utility sector is over the 200-day, Jackson. Yeah, it's over the 200, so it's full. Yeah, it's full on XLU. Okay. So we have 5 minutes here. We're only down 100 points now. All right, so let me put in the order for XLU. I think I'm just going to go ahead and buy that now, get that out of the way. Do we know this is going to go up? No, we do not. Do I think it's going to be a losing trade? Honestly, when I go into a trade, I just assume it's going to be a losing trade, so it makes it easier for me to get out if, in fact, it is a losing trade. Okay. All right, so I did buy XLU at 63.27. And my SPY is going to buy at the end of the day, so that is on autopilot. All right, so XLU 63.27. Oh, we're at 63.20. I guess I should have waited the extra 5 minutes, right? All right. Look at VIX. Look at that explosion today that got sold into. So somebody bought VIX yesterday. I can't remember who it was. Was it Dr. Long? No. Who was it? Somebody bought it yesterday, so they had a good day. Hope they did a little phasing, though. Okay. Well, it looks like everything's on autopilot here. Oh, Jesse says backtest on GDX 520 cross. Okay. If I can pull this up for you, Jess. Actually, I think I've done that one before. I don't think it's that great. Let's take a look. Yeah, not so good. It doesn't even backtest profitably. It's negative. So probably not a good one to take. Look at that. You don't see many of these backtests that backtest negative. Actually worse than buy and hold, right? GDX 520 exponential cross. And I see you guys have some other comments. I'm going to get to those just as soon as the market closes. And now the market's closed. All right, so I just want to see where did we close on our SPY, or we bought the SPY at 310.77. Okay. So that's that's today's entry. Sell that first thing tomorrow, 310.77. And then XLU I bought today on this higher low V2 over the 50, all over the moving averages here, the 5, the 20, and the 10. And my stop will be halfway of yesterday's washout bar, right about here. So again, we're pretty light on positions here. We've got the SPY position, we've got the current XLRE position, and the XLU position. So that's about it. Not very heavy. Really glad wasn't heavy going into today, right? We've been expecting a pullback, and I'm so glad, you know, that I didn't pile into positions higher here, because that would have hurt. So plans paying off, just being patient, waiting for the pullback. All right. So I'm going to get to these other comments. Just do want to put in a quick plug before I do. Let everybody know that I do offer private one-on-one coaching, teaching, and mentoring lessons in the evening time via Skype. I really do like to teach. I've had really good success with my students. I have a course. It's 5 2-hour sessions. It's live in the evening time with me, and I teach you everything that I've learned from all of my mentors and all of my experience of being a full-time trader for the last 24 years. So I really honestly do believe that if you take the course, you're going to come away with a much deeper understanding of how I approach trading and how I look at trading than you do here on the live stream. I hope this is helpful. That's why I do it, for sure. But of course, when you work one-on-one with somebody, you learn at a deeper level. And, you know, I spend a lot of time in my lessons teaching, but then having you teach it back to me, asking you a lot of questions, asking you questions to trip you up, to make sure that you're listening, to make sure that you fully really understand and internalize what I've taught you. So like I said, it's 5 2-hour sessions. Generally it's longer than 2 hours. Sometimes it's 3 hours. Sometimes it's longer than that. But I stay on as long as I feel like I need to, or as long as you could stay on, to make sure that you've understood what we've talked about that day. So if it's of interest to you, please reach out to me. I like to start with just a Skype call, just to kind of interview each other, just to see if it's a fit. It's a free Skype call. There's no obligation to take the lesson. The course, the price of the course is $1,000. I mean, sounds like a lot, but I really do think it's going to be a great investment for you in the future to help you become a profitable trader. And at the very, very least, I promise you're going to save that amount of money just in the losses from what I teach you. So my email's in the description of this video. You can also reach out to me on Twitter. And then lastly, if you enjoyed today's podcast, if you're learning something from this channel, I would hope that you would subscribe if you haven't already. And at the very least, if you could hit the thumbs up button, I really would help it. I would really appreciate it. It does help Google or YouTube identify the channel as being helpful, and wants to put it out there more, and helps grow the channel, and helps us, you know, get more people to the channel to hopefully teach them some good trading principles. So, okay, that is it. And let me just see up here. I know I had some comments that I couldn't get to. Okay, so we talked about that. We talked about that. We talked about Dr. Long shorting EMR. We talked about Mount Doji CLRV2. Did you take that, by the way, Mount Doji? Murat says, I scale in when I am trading rather volatile instruments like crude oil. I try to risk small first, make some profit, and then risk profit to take a larger position. Oh, that makes sense, Murat. That's good. That's good. Yeah, there's a skill and an approach that people use to scaling in. I've never used it. I've spent most of my time spending my efforts on scaling out. Frank says, hello, Greg and all. Still in AALK. Let's take a look. AALK. Still in AALK. Position up over 8%. November 19th entry. Oh, AALK. I don't have an AALK, Frank. Maybe you should check that ticker, because when I put that in, I don't get that. CJ Biz, hey, how's it going? Got some cool emojis there. Not sure what they mean. Maybe it has to do with something with my charts crashing. But thanks for coming, CJ Biz. Appreciate it. Yeah, Frank, I'd like to look at that, but confirm on that symbol, because I can't pull it up. Jackson said, just notice it didn't quite get there. When you get to it, no rush. Yep. So we'll watch that tomorrow. I'm definitely going to be watching that tomorrow. Frank says, I'm starting to ignore China news as just more blather. Yep, I agree. Mert says, my short position is not large. Okay, that's good. You're welcome, Jess. Kurt, hey, Greg and all. Good to see you, buddy. Man Solo says, Apple seems to have a bearish MACD divergence. Actually, a Man Solo, it does not. It is, as it's moving up higher and higher and higher, you can see that, yes, it is starting to lose momentum. But in order to have a valid bearish MACD divergence, you have to have the green bars, which we have. You then have to have a pullback. Dr. Alexander Elder calls this breaking the back of the bull. But then you have to start painting some red negative MACD bars, which we have. So it will not be a legitimate bearish divergence until, now that we have red bars, we go back up, test the high or higher, minimum, make a double top or higher, and then the MACD bars to the green side have to be very small compared to here. So I hope that makes sense. So we need tall MACD bars, which we have. We then need a pullback and some red bars, which we have. But then we need to attempt to go equal to or higher. And even though we're equal to or higher, we have smaller MACD bars. So that is what would be considered a bearish divergence. So it's possibly working on one now, but technically it is not one now. I hope that makes sense, man. So Steve says intermission. Let's see here. Steve says, it's so hard to change charting services after getting used to them for years. It's so true. It's so true. Mert says, I use 3 different approaches to not get used to any of them too much. I don't like to be dependent on one platform. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. A man's solo thoughts on LG IH. I think I looked at that one. Yeah, I think I would wait for a break back over the 200, to be honest with you. That's my honest opinion. Kurt says, yes, sir, I meant it all. For those in here on the fence about joining Greg's course, there aren't many mentors out there in Greg's caliber. He taught me more than I ever expected. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah, I try. I mean, I do try to put a lot of energy into my students. It's very important that they succeed. I mean, it's very important to me that they do. So I do spend a lot of time and a lot of calories burnt, right, and really trying to teach. So thank you so much, Kurt. I appreciate that, bud. And you were an excellent student. Jackson says, we can skip Johnson & Johnson. I've not heard that simple. I know. It's painful every time we go to it. Big thanks. Kurt says, big thanks to Steve Burns as well. Another A+ mentor. Oh man. Well, he's one of my main mentors, Kurt. And I've learned so much from Steve. So thank you, Steve. Murat, Greg, I think you should just let the last part of scaling run a bit free. You can still set a wide stop without a profit target. That way you'll be able to ride the trend if it develops. Yeah, we call that a runner, right? We call it a runner. But I'll tell you, with it's a good piece of advice, Murat, but it's just not really part of my plan. Right. I mean, and you kind of have to have a plan that fits your personality. That might fit someone else's personality, but not me. I kind of like I like to know exactly what I'm doing. I don't like to have it kind of out there floating. Although, waiting for it to pull back under the moving average, I completely understand. But, that's why I developed my approach for me, because it really fits what I'm doing. But it is definitely good advice. We call that a runner. Murat says, I looked at my account report yesterday and my winning rate is 48%. My return, on the other hand, is very good. This is just because I let the move continue until it reverses. Hey, listen, you can have a 70% win rate and still lose money. You can have a 30% win rate and still make money. So it doesn't matter what your winning percentage is. It just matters your profit factor. So Murat, just under 50% of his wins, right? He wins about half the time, just a little under. But of course, what he makes when he wins is larger than what he loses. So that makes profitable trading. Okay. Jackson said on XLU, did you say full? Yes, full. And then Jesse, we looked at the 520 cross on GDX, which was not good. JT, hey, good to see you. JT says, I use AIQ system software for more than 10 years, but after Dr. Smith, the scientist that developed, passed away, there were no more updates. I dropped it. Oh, interesting. I've never heard of that one. Jesse says, yikes. Yeah, that was not a good backtest. Steve Burns says, GDX is too volatile. It just chops around with stable trends, without stable trends. Yep. And that's why you don't get the good results on the crossover. Jesse said, just pull the trigger on year subscription of TrendSpider. Oh, good. And learning how to use the backtest and all the other features. At first use seems to be excellent tool. Yeah, Steve Burns has talked a lot about TrendSpider and seems that he really likes it. So Steve Burns likes something, I know he's looked at it carefully. So nice, Jesse. Let me know how that goes. I'm interested in that backtesting. Jackson says, Greg, I'm going to design you a retro test pattern loop in the rare event technology fails you again, including 70s elevator music to calm the viewers and yourself. Oh, that'd be awesome. We're experiencing technical difficulties. Please enjoy the music. Steve Burns says, hey, Jess, I also use TrendSpider for more complex backtesting, and I love their raindrop charts. Yeah, they have raindrop charts that show you where the volume of the day came in, I believe, right? Jesse says, very cool. Sure, Steve Burns, excited to unleash the power of this product. John, hey, good to see you, John. ALLK. Oh, is that? Oh, okay. Yeah, that was from Frank. Okay. And Frank bought it. Let me scroll back up there and see if I can find it. November 19th at 81.16. Oh, I think we talked about that yesterday. That's right. Yeah, you bought it. Yeah, you bought it yesterday. Look at this. Fantastic. All right, so what's Frank doing with that though? Let me take a look up here again. Oh, he's up 8%. Okay. You didn't mention what you're going to do with it. Fantastic. Just make sure you have a plan for that, Frank. I'm sure you do. Jackson says, I'm not far from pulling the trigger on a backtesting service. TrendSpider is on the list. Good, good, good. Yeah. I've heard a lot of great things about TrendSpider. And as you guys know too, I like ETF Replay for backtest. It probably has a lot more capability than the backtest that I'm doing with it, but I just want something basic, for moving averages. Christopher Hitchin, hey, good to see you. Chris says, I use Sierra charts. It's excellent. Christopher also says, also use TrendSpider like the backtest. It's easy to use. Okay, good. Well, there we have some more good testimonials for TrendSpider. Steve says, anyone that asks to do one-on-one with me, I send them to Greg. What Greg does is hard work. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. It is hard work, but you know what? I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. And I really enjoy after a couple lessons when I start seeing the student put it together and they kind of get that aha moment. And, the thing with trading is if you don't really have a plan, it's frustrating because you know all these different bits and pieces, but how to put it together is kind of tough. And in my experience, when I finally was able to put the plan together, I just was like, Now I've got it. Doesn't mean it's the Holy Grail, but I have a plan. But in my experience, the aggravation comes from hearing about all these indicators, about all these things that you look at, but how to actually construct it and put it together. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it, my friend. Steve says, Christopher says, Sierra Charts has an excellent volume profile and TPO. Steve says, TrendSpider is going to give me a Black Friday deal for members of my website. I talk to the owner of TrendSpider once a month. He's a great guy. Oh, good. So Steve knows the owner. Good. Jesse, in what other free trade room can you directly communicate with Greg Gossett, Steve Burns, and occasionally Chris will answer nowhere? The value of your show, Greg, is priceless, and the course. Thanks, Jesse. I appreciate it. I really do. Yeah, it's nice when Steve is in here. I mean, I don't expect him to be in here, but when he's in here, it's really great. Jackson says, very true, Jesse. Couldn't agree more. So appreciate Greg and Steve. Thank you. We appreciate you, Steve. In my Facebook trading group, Michael Covell, Tom Basso, Jack Schwager, Van Thorpe, and John Bollinger drop by at times. Oh, interesting. You know, I've mentioned that I'm working on a kind of a new component for my trading approach. Not all encompassing. It's just like a new component, like the overnight SPY trade. And actually, what I'm working on right now was inspired by reading Van Thorpe's book. And so when I get with Steve and tell him about it, I'm sure he'll understand because he talked about it in one of his books. But I'm still working on it, still kind of working out the bugs and thinking it through. But yeah, with Steve mentioning Van Thorpe there. So in my Facebook trading group, Michael Covell, of course, you guys probably know Michael Covell, and the trend trading author, Tom Basso, of course, Jack Schwager, Van Thorpe, John Bollinger. Wow, that's awesome. I'm a member of that. I'll have to check that out. But yeah, Steve has a Facebook trading group as well. Frank says trading can be called the agony and the ecstasy. Man, what a great book. If I ever write a trading book, guys, I'm going to call it The Agony and Ecstasy from Frank. And I'll note on there, this title comes from Frank. Yeah, I mean, it's so appropriate. Thanks, Frank. Murat, I have only used price and on balance volume on my chart. After Greg's YouTube show, I started looking at RSI and MACD. I also have a template, the same as Greg's chart. I look at it to get another view. Oh, good. Dr. Long says, yes, but you have deal with the likes of Dr. Long? Dr. Long says, yes, but you have deal with likes of Dr. Long. I think I understand. Well, I liked having Dr. Long here. And I appreciate you coming by every day, sir. I really do. Okie dokie. Well, Gossett trading therapy sessions. It's good to have a little community, right? It's good to have a community. You know, we talk about good trading principles. We take a look at good setups. You know, we bounce ideas. I think it's important. It's kind of tough when you trade just alone. You're just sitting there. You don't have a community. I think it's important that you have a community. Oh, to deal with the likes of Dr. Long. Okay, gotcha. So where did we end up today? So we have the SPY, of course. We have that. We still have XLRE. I'm waiting for a close below the 50 as my stop, or going to scale out here as it keeps moving up. And XLU. So not a lot of positions, not a lot of exposure, and I'm fine with that. I'm just glad missed out on this down move today, for sure. All right, man, look at space, you guys. This is the Virgin Galactic thing up here. I can't remember who came in here And we're talking about it here with this bearish reversal bar where we close higher than previous days close, but lower than the current day's open. And that seemed to be a good place to get out. Now we are hovering around halfway of this big washout bar back here. Looks like we closed under it. So, and we closed under a 30 RSI. So not looking too hot. Yeah. All right, let's see. All right, does anybody have anything else they want to talk about or anything to look at? If you do, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to put my hiking boots on, head out to the mountains to do some hiking. All right. Well, listen, Jesse, thank you, sir, for coming by. I really appreciate it. Jackson says, thanks, Greg, for a great session. Much appreciated. Safe hike. You too, buddy. Thank you. Frank says, the trading partner thing is brilliant. The trading partner thing too brilliant. I think what Frank means is it's good to have a trading partner. Is that right, Frank? But thank you, Frank. Thank you, Jackson. Is brilliant. Okay. So Frank, Jackson, Jesse, thank you. Dr. Long, thank you for coming by. Murat, good to see you, my friend. And let us know what works out with that position that you have. Please do not jump in a pool without any water. Steve Burns, thank you for coming, sir. Really nice to have you here. Always appreciate it. Really do. And Christopher Hitchin, good to see you. Thank you for coming by. John, good to see you. Always nice to see you, and thanks for coming by. I hope you keep coming back. And we have JT. Good to see you, JT. Haven't seen you in a while. It's nice to have you back. Let's see. And Kurt, good to see you, sir. Thanks again for that great email, and hope you have a good day. And I'll get with you soon. Like actually with you and with Jesse, Anthony. When I work out this new approach to share that with you personally. Let's see. A man solo, nice to have you here. Thank you so much. CJ Biz, thank you for coming by. Hope you keep coming back. Mount Doji, good to see you. Let me know if you took any of those short or any of those V2s. Be interested to follow that. Being He, good to see you, sir. Being He, I wanted to take a look at that trade that you bought, the under 30, over 30, but I couldn't remember. So if you're still around, let me know what that symbol is. Marco, good to see you, sir. If there's anything I can ever help you with, Marco, you please let me know. Wayne K, good to see you. Hope you're doing well and hope to see you again. And Evan, hello from Los Angeles, or hello to you in Los Angeles. Hope you have a good day there and enjoy that rain. Dr. Long says, I trade fundamentals and look for setups. Car sales are imploding worldwide. I've heard that, looking at short retail automobile companies. All right, sounds good. I mean, it sounds like you have a plan, right? You know, the way that I look at fundamentals and technicals is, and this is debatable for sure, but if you see something that has great fundamentals or you see something that has really bad fundamentals, if you want to get in or you want to short it, big picture, the fundamentals are such and such, but then the trigger would be to get in the trade would actually be the trigger to get in. That's kind of how I look at it. You may have a different approach, but all right, everybody. Well, listen, have a good rest of your day. Go out and do something nice for somebody today. Just a wave or smile or hold the door open, something, right? It might really make their day, and you can really affect their day in a positive way just by just one nice little gesture. Oh, Bing He says, is BRFT? Yeah, I think that sounds familiar. Oh, BRFS. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about. You still own that, Bing He? Yeah, I think we talked about it going under 30, over 30 intraday, or getting into it when it closed back over the 200. And then it moved up nicely. Just wondering if you're still in that and what your plan is with the trade. All right, everybody. Oh, Bing He says, yes, still above the 200-day moving average. Okay, good. All right. Thank you so much for coming today. Have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe and do something nice for somebody, right? And hope to see everybody tomorrow. Take care now. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.